When students sleep in the classroom, this means that they didn't have a good night's sleep. They slept late and they slept for less hours. How can we put an end to this? How can we treat this problem? Let's find out. The effects of sleep deprivation. According to Stanford Medicine, sleep deprivation increases the likelihood teens will suffer myriad negative consequences, including an inability to concentrate, poorer grades, drowsy driving incidents, anxiety, depression, thoughts of suicide, and even suicide attempts. It's a problem that knows no economic boundaries. Let's start with poorer grades. There are many factors that prevent teens from getting the right amount of sleep that they need. It may be ascribed to the use of technology, the amount of caffeine intake, and other factors. Despite the common belief, sacrificing sleep to get better grades leads to a higher chance of getting bad grades. According to the American Psychological Association, research involving more than 3,000 high school students showed that students who often get C's, D's, and F's usually sleep 25 minutes less and went to bed at about 40 minutes later than the students who reported were getting A's and B's. Studies have shown that teens should be getting roughly 9 hours of sleep each day. Therefore, students that don't get 8 to 10 hours of sleep lose their ability to succeed dramatically. Students will have trouble learning and processing information, coping with stress, and staying focused at school. Depression and anxiety. According to the Children's Health Council, research has shown that each hour of lost sleep can be associated with a 38% of an increased feeling of hopelessness and sadness, and 58% increase in suicide attempts. This research had been experimented on around 28,000 high school students, according to the Children's Health Council. Another study found that high school seniors were 3 times more likely to have strong depression symptoms if they had excessive daytime sleepiness, which means that they didn't sleep well at night, so they had naps during the day to compensate the lost sleeping hours. Behavior issues. People most likely have had a first-hand experience of the lack of sleep affecting their moods and behavior drastically the next day. Those that don't get enough sleep are often more probable to be irritable, short-tempered, and vulnerable to being aggravated with common annoyances such as getting out of bed or waiting in line compared to those that get enough sleep. A study at the University of Pennsylvania found out that people that only get around 4.5 hours of sleep every night for a week and often report being stressed, unhappy, angry, and mentally exhausted. After the subjects returned to sleeping in the normal routines, they reported back that there was a drastic improvement in their moods. Health decline. The best medication for a never-ending cold could be sleep. According to NHS, the National Health Service in the US, you can boost your immunity just by changing your sleep schedule. Prolonged lack of sleep can leave you vulnerable to viruses that cause common colds or the flu, and therefore increase the likelihood of getting sick. Also, according to Healthline, if you are a person that sleeps no longer than 5 hours a night, there is a possibility of an increase in blood pressure, which could lead to heart attacks and strokes. There is also a risk of getting type 2 diabetes because sleep deprivation can affect your body's release of insulin, which is a blood sugar lowering hormone. A single night of no sleep will not stunt growth, but over the long term, a child's growth may be affected by not getting enough sleep. That's because growth hormone is normally released during sleep. Now we know that the height of a human being is determined in his genetics. This is the genetic height. However, in order to reach that height, a person should have, or a child should have, the following: good nutrition, enough sleeping at night, and they should have a good relation of tender love and care with their parents, according to the recent studies. If someone consistently gets too little sleep, known as sleep deprivation, growth hormone is suppressed, and thus the kid will not reach his genetic height. Weight increase. NHS, National Health Service, states that people who sleep less than 7 hours a day are more likely to gain more weight than those who get more than 7 hours. This is because a decrease in sleep quantity leads to a decrease in levels of leptin, the chemical that triggers the feeling of fullness, and an overprocurement of ghrelin, the chemical that causes the feeling of hunger. Conclusion: sleeping early at night for more than 7 hours will give you a healthy body and a functioning brain. Now, what are the recommendations to solve this problem and sleep early? Stop using your mobile phone, electronic devices at least 1 hour before sleeping. Submit your phone or electronic devices to your parent in order to stop using it. Avoid heavy meals at night after 7 p.m. If there's a late football game in weekdays, avoid watching it so you may sleep early, especially Champions League games that start at 11 p.m., at the time in which you should be sleeping and even dreaming. You may watch the highlights later on. Well, this is a strategy that I apply. I really want to watch the football game. I know that it's not the same. When you watch the live game, there's more excitement, there's more adrenaline rush and stuff like that. But, well, I can watch the highlights later. You will get used to it. To start sleeping early, avoid afternoon naps and sleep at night instead. Reading and saying prayers will help you relax and prepare you for sleeping. This is 100% true. And also avoid consuming caffeine, especially in the evening. These are the sources that are used in this presentation. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I hope that you all benefit from this. And let's help our youngsters sleep early so they can achieve more and be successful in school. And this also is useful for us adults, not only for our kids. Thanks again, and have a good day or a good night.